We're back for season 2.
Yes, it's bigger. It's badder. It's
Oh, just get on with it.
bad scripts.
Hello and welcome back to Bad Scripts Presents The Last Resort, Season 2. It's me, Steve Jones, here again to bring you a fantastic episode of the podcast. And joining me, the man who needs no introduction, but every week gets one, none other than the train-dwelling Mr. Mike Garlia. Hi, Mike.
Train dwelling. I don't live in a train.
Yeah, but it's going to feel like that tomorrow because, for the listeners out there, Mike is traveling the country, the United Kingdom, for all the way from Scotland down to where I live near Nottingham, and he's coming to visit, and we're having a weekend away at the resort that this very script is based. And I for one, could not be more excited to see my best friend in the world, and to go on this adventure with some other great friends who are going to be there too. So, Mike, how are you feeling? Ready for your big journey?
I am more prepared for this than I've ever been. My bag is packed. My sandwiches are in the fridge made up. So I've got a little blanket to put over my knees. I've got some Werther's Originals there as well. My flat cap and my thermos. Now, do you know, actually, because I was going to drive and it's like a 5-6 hour drive. And then I decided, I'm going to take the train. I'm just going to relax and read a book and just chill for a little bit. And I'm quite looking forward to that because there's a bit of zoning out going on there, and I think it's quite a nice journey down. So as long as you're at the train station there to meet me, and I want you with a big placard with some nice message on it. I want soft, gentle X Factor style music playing.
You do realise that by asking for a nice board, you're going to get something really sarcastic and probably quite derogatory on the sign.
I'd expect nothing less. I would expect nothing less. No, it's going to be good. And
I will run through the station in slow motion to meet you and hug you like we're in some sort of.
Can I film that
Love
and
Actually?
Post it? Can I film that and post this? You running in slow motion.
I'll do my best for you
because I'll put Benny Hill music over it. I will. And
at my age, I do run in slow motion. There is no.
Well, yes, we are. So. We spoke about this on the last episode. This has been in the plan since like May last year. It's been a long time coming.
About June time we booked it.
Was it June? Yeah. Like and now it's finally here. We're going to see some old friends that we haven't seen in a very long time. We're going to see some friends of the show that's been on. And as we said in the last episode, we're going to be retreading the same concrete that we cut our teeth over when we first met at the tender ages of 19. So I feel quite nervous because it's going to be a surreal experience, but I'm sure when we step through those gates, a flood of memories. The flurry of memories is going to come back. It really is
100%. It's one of those occurrences that we've put off for a while. I think we were apprehensive about it, but I think we got to the point now where we're just going to embrace it, have fun, and enjoy ourselves for the weekend, and not be dad anymore, and not be, the grown-ups that we are. We're going to be those 19-year-olds all over again.
You were going to say grumpy, wasn't you? You were looking right at me there, and you changed the word grumpy to grown-up.
I mean, if if the cap fits.
Well, it doesn't.
No.
So I'm sure there'll be lots of things on social media. There'll be lots of things that they'll be sharing, and we'll show some of the fun. And we might even do a bit of a live recording as well while we're down there, and just recant and reiterate some of the emotions that we're feeling, and some of the experiences, and some of the memories that come flooding back as well.
That's it. And a big shout out to Brian from Be More Super, the podcast, who's going to be traveling with us. So we've got a bit of a road trip going, so that should be fun. Maybe we'll be posting some stuff on Instagram or Twitter on the way.
And it's not just a road trip, is it, Steve? Because you've chosen a very promiscuous vehicle for us to travel in, really, haven't you? Is it a limo?
It's not a limo. It is an 8-seater. It is my imported from Japan Mazda Bongo. Now that is a vehicle. It's the vehicle of champions. and it will get us there, and it will get us there in one piece and in comfort. So, that's all you need to worry about.
Isn't that like a travel? It's like a skyscraper on wheels, isn't it? It's
It's
quite tall.
more like a brick on wheels, really. If you go around the corner too fast, then you can end up laying on your side. So we try and avoid that. Not that it goes fast, but there we go.
Well, I have a question for you actually about all of this journey that we've been on, because for those that have been with us since the very first season, you would know that we found this script in the attic. And for those that are like recently joined or just dipping in and out of episodes, um, even those that start listening to an episode just to listen to this bit at the beginning and then don't listen to any of the story and then just listen to the bit at the end, you know who you are. Steve, Steve and I found this script in the attic. We began recording it as a bit of a lark and a bit of a laugh, like kind of taking the Mickey about our writing style at the age of 21 and so on and so forth, and just how naive we are. And then we decided to continue writing this. Steve, my question is, do you think that we just can't let go of the past and that's why we keep continuing this story? Is it starting to feel like that? And then the fact we're going there this weekend as well.
No, for me, I think it's perhaps unfinished business, really, because we both left in circumstances that probably didn't have a full rounded ending that we'd like. And I think,
Resolution.
yeah, and I think with our characters, we want to try and create a little bit of that for them. So I think we want to tell the stories. I think it's a great adventure, and I think people who've not worked in that environment are always really curious about it. So for so long, we kind of didn't talk about it, and I'm not going to say we're ashamed of it, but didn't feel it was like an appropriate thing to bring into conversation or what have you. But so many people that have tuned in and have engaged with our stories, and even if they've not lived in that kind of environment, have found similarities to their own youth in there. So for me, the joy comes from sharing the fun, and every episode I've recorded, I personally have had a lot of fun doing. So to me, it's not letting go of the past. It's about embracing that and helping that to create our futures, because we wouldn't be going on this road trip if we hadn't have done the podcast.
It's true. It's absolutely true. And there's something you said there actually that's worth just talking about for a few seconds. And that is when you do this kind of work, there's no blaze of glory finish. It's not like you finish on a high with everyone clapping and whooping you as you leave those gates. It just finishes. It's either your season that finishes and you come back, or at the very least you would go on and do something else. And you're just a moment in time. And that's the way to everyone that's done work like this, and to all of our dear friends that have grown up and matured through doing work like this. That's just the way it is. You're just a moment in time. You were there to experience, but you get to take that life with you and those memories with you as well. And we've been, I suppose, blessed enough and creative enough to build it into a story that we've built and almost coming to the end of now.
Yeah, and that's it. There is literally a handful of episodes left on season 2, and we'll be wrapping up the story. So, what we do next, it's not decided yet. So if you want to get in touch and you've got an opinion on what you think we should do next with the podcast, then please let us know. So Mike, we will catch up briefly on what's happened in the podcast then. In the last resort, I think the last thing we saw was that Mushy had confided in Wayne that he wasn't happy. He was being forced to do things he didn't want to do, and Wayne tried to find out who it was and very nearly understood what Kelly was doing. But I think at the moment he's still none the wiser. Is that fair to say?
I think that's fair to say. I think Wayne's mellowed, hasn't he? He's probably gone through more maturity as a character than a lot of the people that we've written actually, and we're starting to see a true glimpse of Wayne. And I know that from speaking to from hearing some of the chat and seeing some of the comments, people are starting to really warm up to this guy that we really created at the beginning to be quite the villain. But in terms of the story itself, secrets never stay secrets in places like this. There is always ways that things get out, and there are eyes everywhere.
Absolutely. And of course we've had Adam and his accidental what's the word for it? growth.
Accidental the Judy growth. Yeah.
The Judy
Again,
growth, yeah.
the Judy growth. And again, hearing from people that have listened to that show who've had similar experiences, not with a woman, but like we were talking about buses and we're talking about accidental things happening. It's amazing how common it is and how many people going, do you know what? That's happened to me before.
And it's all that stuff, isn't it, that no one wants to talk about. Everyone thinks it's just happened to them, and it's not until we put our our heads above the parapet that people realize that, oh, it's not just me. So I feel like we're doing the service to help people out here.
Apart from my very dodgy story that I told before, which we won't repeat.
Okay, let's dip into the episode and see what we've got coming up here on The Last Resort. Exterior, Slovakian caravan, dawn. It's early morning, and the sun hasn't risen yet. The birds have barely begun filling the air with their morning song. The caravan park is still and quiet, the faint off-white apex of each roof looking like foreboding and harsh structures in pre-dawn gloom. A low, scraping sound breaks the eerie silence, followed by another, and then longer squeaks ensue as we see the white nets covering the window pull to one side. A leg appears, followed by another. Gingerly, a man climbs out of the window, landing on the floor with both feet planted. Adam brushes himself down, cautiously looks around as a hand reaches from the window and grabs him.
I have to go.
Tatiana's face comes into view as she leans out of the window. No. Adam leans up and kisses her on the lips again, as Tatiana tries to keep hold of him. He smiles, kisses her, and frees himself from her grasp. Taking a few steps backward, he blows her another kiss. She blows one back, and this continues a few more times. She watches him leave, smiling and waving, blowing more kisses as Adam quickly makes his way back to his own accommodation. As he passes the sleeping vans, he fails to notice Margaret sitting at her living room window, knitting needles in hand, paused and mouth open, aghast at what she's just witnessed. Interior, main venue, day. Glen, Mark, Wayne, Alan and Judy sit in the front row table, watching as the dress rehearsal completes, the music making its crescendo as the cast take their final poses. The venue falls quiet. Judy looks around the table, nervously trying to gauge the reactions. Mark does the same, and in solidarity begins clapping, Wayne joining in, followed by Alan. Glen sits motionless, no reaction, as Judy stares intently. The clapping stops and silence takes over the venue. Judy stands and walks towards the stage, addressing the cast, who are waiting their instructions.
Well done, everyone. That was a very strong performance. Adam, Tatiana, great work, you two. I'm very pleased to say that the extra rehearsals have clearly paid off. Alison. Yes, Judy? I want to tidy up the mid-act. It doesn't feel strong enough. No problem. What time do you want, everyone?
Judy looks over her shoulder at the table, specifically at the still motionless Glen.
Get some lunch, everyone. Back at 1 p.m. for a final run-through.
The cast quickly disperse as Judy turns and walks back to the table. Judy, I gave you quite the challenge, didn't I?
A few more screws to tighten, but I thought...
Now, I'm no expert here, but I'd say you pretty much smashed that out of the park.
Yes. Well done. That was brilliant. You should be proud.
Wayne smiles and nods as this news sinks in. A smile slowly creeps across Judy's face. Well, I don't know about you, gentlemen, but I'd say that we found our new head of production.
Found? Always been here, Glen.
Indeed, and I will always admit when I've made a mistake. No doubt about that. Well deserved, Judy. The job's yours if you want it. All the guys clap.
Thank you, Glen. Alan. Now, if you can please excuse me, there's work to be done.
Glen smiles at that as Judy walks away. Now that's work ethic. As the ship is back on an even keel, I must be getting back.
You're leaving?
Alan, I have other businesses that need my attention. I'm leaving this afternoon. Now, Alan, I trust you understand my plan in full?
I do, Glen. We will continue to deliver.
Good. And you know the implications if you don't.
In full.
Good. Until next time, then. Glen stands up and leaves without looking back.
Care to explain what that was all about? Nothing to worry about. We swerved a bullet there. Good old Judy, eh? What say we celebrate?
Some of us have got work to do. Wayne gets up and leaves as well, grumbling and mumbling under his breath. Alan watches him.
He's not Glen's first choice for entertainment's manager, Mark. I appreciate he's quite the performer, but as a leader, I'm not so sure. He'll be okay. I'll have a word. Wayne's just very misunderstood.
Alan stands up, followed by Mark.
Good. I need to know our new entertainment director runs a tight ship. Well done, Mark.
Alan has his arm extended whilst Mark processes the news.
What? Come on, my office. Let's celebrate.
Dun, dun, dun. Wow.
A lot of ship talk in that, wasn't there? There's a lot of keels and ships.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the thing. It's like, they're setting sail, they're heading for the horizon. I think it's intentional. I think it's a Glen thing, It's very much his way. So Glen's happy. He's going. He's promoted Judy and he's promoted Mark, which is, quite the thing to do.
He's kept the status quo. He's just brought everyone up at the same level.
Well,
so Mark's...
Yeah, but he brought in somebody at a level above them, and now he's realised that the people he already had were what he needed, and he's given... Essentially, he's probably had to dip in his pocket a bit and say, right, you deserve to be here. And who's to say that they don't bring anybody in underneath them to help run it on a day-to-day basis,
Well, the facilities are back in full flow and everyone's back in their places exactly where they should be.
Absolutely. And we can't not talk about Adam again.
Sneaking out of Tatiana's caravan, out the window.
I mean, I think it's like the worst kept secret ever that he was going to do that. There was no.
We don't know what happened in the room because we weren't there. He could have read her a bedtime story. He could have just watched over her while she slept. Anything could have happened.
Yeah, he sat there and stroked her hair as she slept. That's what happened.
He did.
Yeah.
He's romantic at heart.
Yeah, isn't he just? But Adam's lost his way, and I think we all know what Adam was up to in that caravan. And I think Margaret knows as well. And Margaret knows it is not something that I think is going to remain too quiet for too long.
Could Margaret sit on that information? Could she, she's got something very juicy now, hasn't she?
Yeah.
She's very much entwined in the lives of everyone. She's just watching, waiting.
Yeah.
We don't know how Margaret feels about Adam either. We don't know whether she likes him or doesn't.
Exactly. And you know how fiercely defensive she was of camp coats in season 1. So, who knows?
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Let's carry on.
And carry on camping. Yeah. Interior Resort Cafe Day. Karen, Daisy, and Margaret sit nursing hot drinks. An assortment of biscuits adorn a plate at the centre of the table as Margaret looks on hungrily. It's a bit of a shame, really. I mean, I wasn't his biggest fan. It's been awfully quiet since Bernie scarpered.
Well, the word doesn't stop for me, like. As soon as he went, Judy comes in with a list of demands. Look at me fingers, man. Raw to the bone sewing new outfits.
Well, it's good to have things back to normal, mind you. I've never seen them all lose their minds so much.
Oh, well, we do love a good drama, eh, Karen?
Welsh Daisy, then. Boy.
Listen, this is the one that gets me. This is the one I cannot do, right? Yeah. Why do you think Daisy's hardly been in it, so I don't have to attempt it? All right, let's try again. Hey, man. Aye, we do love a good drama, eh, Karen? That's the best you're getting. Move on.
I've seen it all, Daisy, love. Have another biscuit. Did you know you can always tell what someone's favourite bicky is?
Yes, pet. Every time we have one.
Daisy laughs and Karen joins in. Everything all right, Margaret? You're a bit quiet. Margaret puts down her teacup, somewhat lost in thought. What's that, my love? You all right? Yeah. Karen scrutinizes Margaret's face for a moment. Spill the beans then, Margaret. No beans to spill from me. How long have we known each other? Oh, I known you since when you first started cleaning them chalets, skinny little bugger you were. So I can always tell when you got some gossip. No gossiping from me. I didn't see nothing. I don't believe it. Margaret with no gossip. As I live and breathe, you knew everything that goes on around here. Karen and Daisy laugh at this. Margaret lowers her head and her voice in a conspiring way. Well, I did see this one thing. All three ladies lean into the table to get closer. Margaret whispers loudly. Well, you know how I'm an early riser. Always have been. Like to get a few new rows on me quilt before the day starts. Well, early this morning, about 5 o'clock it was. Could have been a bit later, not close to 6 though. So let's just go with 5:30 instead. I saw someone. Margaret pauses for dramatic impact and looks at Karen and Daisy in turn.
And we see people all the time, pet.
Now, you see, my van's over at the far side of the site in the corner. I likes a good view until they put those other vans in. They got right in front of mine. So now my living room faces those circus folk. Circus folk? The foreign ones.
She means circus family, like. They have 3 caravans over that way.
4, actually. Anyway, go on, Margaret. I hear this scraping noise, and I see some commotion. I look over, and someone's only climbing out the pretty young one's window. Which window?
Who'd you see, like?
Tatiana. Aye, that's the one.
So someone was in a room last night?
Margaret nods her head. Ooh, did you see who it was? As clear as I see you two now. Margaret pauses again.
Are you going to tell us or what?
It was Adam. There's a gasp from both of the ladies. Adam and Tatiana?
Shh! Did I tell the whole resort, like?
Oh, this is bad news. Margaret and Daisy nod their heads in agreement. I think it's best we keep this between us. I'll not be saying nothing to no one. Like I said, I'm not one for gossip. Just as well, Margaret, love. Have another biscuit. We pan across to see the back of a woman wearing a baseball cap, face covered by nursing a coffee. We pan around to see her, and she slowly comes into view. Her head lifts, revealing her face. Kelly smiles broadly. Da, da, da. So the cat's out the bag. That didn't take long.
It took literally, what, half a day?
Yeah.
Half
Margaret...
a day. And Kelly just happens to be there too.
That sounds like lazy writing, doesn't it?
It sounds like really lazy writing. Who would do such a thing?
Terrible.
Yeah, absolutely terrible. Like we said at the beginning of this episode, secrets don't stay secrets for long.
Absolutely. So, yes, I'm sure it's all going to unravel in this and possibly future episodes. So let's stay tuned for that one. Interior, Donna's caravan, day. Dan is sat on the long sofa. He slides off his trainer using the toes of his other foot. Donna is stirring a cup of tea cheerily before walking over and handing it to Dan. She picks up her own cup with both hands and joins Dan on the bench sofa. The TV is on and the football match is playing, taking Dan's attention. Cheers, love. Dan takes a sip of his tea before making the typical satisfied ooh of a tea drinker. Yeah, so Dad was good. He was gutted you couldn't come for dinner. Oh, you know how it is. Superstar DJ Dan the man can't let his audience down. I know, babe. He's got some news, though. Oh, God, it's not his robot woman again, is it? God, no. Nah, no, he's decided he's going to expand his empire and open up a load of new shops. Yes! Go on, get in there. Donna is shocked by Dan's enthusiasm, but quickly realizes this because Dan's team has scored a goal. Dan, I'm trying to talk to you. Sorry, babe. Yeah, new shops. That's really cool. He's opening one here in town. Dan starts to pay attention to Donna. That's really cool. So, like, he'll be around loads more then. Yeah. And even better than that, there's a flat above it. All right, a flat to stay in. Is he planning on moving up here then? Nah, don't be silly. It's even better. He says that we can live there. Me and you, completely rent free. All right. Well, why would we do that? I mean, we've already got free digs here, and like all of our friends are here too. I've just been thinking, if I do get the auntie job, and it's pretty much certain, I'm not going to be able to live on this site anymore. So it's just really good timing. But I don't know if I'm going to get that kept on. I mean, what happens then? Well, that's the beauty of it, right? Dad would like you to work at the shop. Isn't that great? No more uncertainty. We can really get our lives sorted. I mean, you start as assistant manager, but Dad says, like, give it 6 months, right? And if you're doing all right, he'll make you the manager. We'll have a place to live, steady money, and security. Dan looks horrified at Donna's suggestion. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, babe. Jesus, that escalated. What about my superstar DJ career? Donna laughs gently before noticing this makes Dan scowl. I get that that's your dream, Dan, and I love it that you're so ambitious. But I mean, how many people actually make a decent living long term doing that? This is security. We can build a real life here. Well, it sounds like you and your dad have got it all planned out and topped off with a nice little bow. Dan stands abruptly. It's not like that. But we can hardly go on like this forever, running about trying to see each other in the off season, sneaking in me into resort in the boot of your car. It's time we grew up. This is a real future for us, Dan. Do I even get a say in this? Oh, don't be so sensitive. This is a real opportunity for us. I thought you'd be excited. Dan grabs his jacket. Where are you going? I need some air. I'll see you in a bit. Please don't leave, Dan. Let's just talk it through. What's left to talk about? You and your dad have figured it all out and planned my life for me. Dan leaves, closing the door gently. Donna sits staring at the football game. Her eyes begin to tear up. It's trouble at Mill.
Trouble,
trouble at Mill.
Trouble at Mill. Look, right, okay. Let's just take a moment. If this was you in Dan's situation, how would you feel about that situation?
Well, I think I'd probably feel the same way as Dan does. It's, he's not been consulted and basically his life's been planned out for him. And his girlfriend thinks it's okay to do that and doesn't seem to see a problem with it. So it would knock me.
I think she sees it as a perfect opportunity. And we don't know what Tony has said to his daughter. Anyway, and what kind of conversation they've had. I think probably Tony's more in the line of, I've got something for you, Donna. And then Donna's like, well, I come with Dan. So I think probably this originates from Donna. She's just not articulated it very well, which is really common with things like this. Say, I've got a plan, and there is a misstep between them.
And let's not forget Tony, Donna's dad, does really like Dan. I think he really took to him after the whole sex robot thing. From
sex doll. It was a sex doll.
Well, it was but it was an AI one, wasn't it? It was like a weird thing. But anyway, so I think he genuinely wants to help both of them out, and he thinks by offering that to his daughter, he's providing her with the security that she wants. So she wants Dan. So if he offers Dan something more stable, then his daughter will be more stable. So he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart. And Donna's doing it because she loves Dan and she wants a stable life. But Dan hasn't been consulted. They've obviously not had a conversation about what they're going to do with their future before this point. And he's feeling like I'm having this all planned out for me and I don't get a say.
And let's just remember, let's recap. They are only 20 years old at this point.
Exactly.
They feel older because we've been with them quite a long time.
Yeah,
they're only 20.
And Dan's gone on a journey of maturity, but it's not like he's still got a long way to go before he's ready for that kind of a commitment. And if it was any other kind of a business other than working in a sex shop, He may even feel a bit different about it, but I think it's definitely a step too far for him.
Well, I'm rooting for the kids. They're going to make it.
Time will tell just how, what they come to decide to do about this offer. Interior Entertainment's office day. Judy is with Mark as they are scrutinising the entertainment schedule. They both look a bit perplexed as they scribble over it.
What if we move Moo's Farmyard Adventure back an hour to 11 a.m.? Well, that would help a little, but it leaves quite a gap in the morning. Okay. What about circus skills between 9 and 10, street performers and face art from 10 till 11? I'm sure Boomy Rang will be all right with an earlier slot.
Judy scrutinises this for a few moments.
Still leaves a gap at 4 p.m, unless we put 2 lots of each on. No, we can't. Contract states one a day. But we could have the coach do double circus skills. Yes, that could work. That means we are now short of just 1 act. Glen's not going to fork out for any more. He's made that quite clear.
Judy glances over at Wayne, who is typing on his computer.
Wayne?
Wayne looks up at Judy and Mark.
Do we have any camp coach shows we can use? We're using most of them in the shows. A game show, bingo, Mr. and Mrs. Nobby needs, for Christ's sake, anything. A hoot percent.
Well, I suppose I could dust off.
We can't anyway. Glen doesn't want any old-style variety entertainment in the schedule.
They both look puzzled. Judy sees the door as Robin walks past, and her eyes light up.
I may have an idea.
Interior Entertainment's office, corridor, day. Judy passes along the corridor and calls after Robin.
Robin, a word.
Robin stops and turns around, smiling as he greets Judy. Oh, hi, Judy. As Judy approaches Robin, the remainder of the showcast file out of the rehearsal room as a flurry of noise and activity fills the building, obscuring Robin and Judy's conversation as she begins gesticulating gently, and Robin appears to be deep in thought. Kelly suddenly appears in view and stands in the centre of the corridor, the cast swerving around her as she stands with her hands on her hips, watching everyone.
Need I remind you lot that these are all working offices? Just because you're twirlies doesn't mean the rules don't apply.
No one pays attention to Kelly as they continue chatting and walking around.
I'm no one to be ignored, right?
Kelly spots Alison making a beeline for the green room.
Alison.
Ali stops, sighs, and turns around facing Kelly.
Well, come here then. I'm not shouting down the hallway.
Ali walks to Kelly. Ali has a smile on her face.
What can I do for you, Kelly? As head girl, it's your job to keep them lot in line. They're making too much noise. Well, I don't think it's that noisy. You don't think? Well, if you had half a brain anyway, you clearly see how bloody loud it is. So, what do you want me to do? Shut them up, or I'll start writing them up.
Ali has a slight tone of sarcasm in her voice.
Can everyone keep the noise down, please?
There is immediate silence.
Happy now?
Sergei is walking down the corridor sweating. After rehearsing his routine, a towel draped around his shoulders.
You think you're funny, dear. I'd watch my back if I were you. Is that a threat, Kelly? No, just a friendly warning. Friendly? Ha!
Ali turns and walks down to the green room, going straight in and closing the door.
And Sergei, I'd watch that pretty daughter of yours a bit more too.
Sergei looks at Kelly, surprised.
What you mean?
Kelly points behind him, and Sergei turns. He sees Tatiana coming out of the rehearsal room, with Adam following very closely behind. As they exit, Tatiana rubs Adam's arm affectionately. Both of them are smiling and flirtatious. Sergei sees this.
I'd watch that one, and I certainly wouldn't let him be that close to my precious daughter if that was me.
Sergei looks at Kelly, studying her face.
I'll leave you to think about it then, eh?
We stay with Kelly as she walks down the corridor. A large smile spreads across her face. The green room door opens and Mushy appears. She sees Kelly and tries to take a step back in. It's too late as she spotted him.
Where have you been hiding yourself? I've just been in there.
Kelly walks closer to Mushy.
Are you free tonight? I mean, well, yeah, I can be. Good. Same time, my place, right?
Mushy nods his head. Kelly takes a look around and sees no one is near, steps in and grabs his buttocks, squeezing hard as he winces slightly.
Catch ya.
Kelly walks back down the corridor towards the rehearsal room, never once looking back as she leaves. Mushy turns and goes back into the green room. Wayne is stood at the other end, looking down from the office.
So
Wow.
that was very frenetic, wasn't it? That's quite a frenetic corridor scene.
It was. There was a lot happening in a short time, but then that's a busy working off. That's what happened. Stuff was always going on, wasn't it? And people were always milling about and doing stuff. And I think Kelly trying to flex again, but she's not really. She doesn't really have any authority when it comes to Ali as head girl, and that frustrates her because she, again, like she was with Donna, she's had authority over her at one point, and then that's been taken away, and she doesn't like that. She wants to still feel superior, so she starts trying to throw a weight around. But Ali's not falling for it. She's not lowering herself, so she's just kind of laughing along with it and kind of sarcastically doing as Kelly asks, but not with any airs and graces.
So this was a common thing back in the day. So this is actually quite a bit of a true story here, right? And just for the listeners, so you can imagine the layout. So you have this really, really long corridor, and on the right hand side of the corridor, you've got like kind of dressing rooms and toilets and green rooms. On the left hand side, you have a kind of wardrobe. The further down, you have an entertainment office where everyone was sitting. And then at the very back of the room, you would have the rehearsal studio. So that corridor was always a central hub of activity of people coming in and out all the time, because you've got both cast, you've got camp coach, you've got everyone all in there. And this just happened to be one of those scenes. And one thing that I remember we used to get quite a lot is if you were talking in the corridor, someone would come out and go, "This is a working office. Go and talk somewhere else."
Yeah.
So we've just kind of weaved that in a little bit, because it was and Kelly's just decided to pick up that mantle and just start yelling at everyone and clearly getting no respect at all.
And it's an authenticity to it, isn't there? Because of that, because we know it really happened. And Kelly, I mean, Kelly likes to rule with an iron fist. She's not like Mark and even Wayne to some extent. I mean, Wayne was a bit like that. I think he's mellowed a little, but Mark doesn't go around shouting and bawling. He doesn't need to, because he has a natural authority. Kelly feels like she has to be loud and obnoxious to be in charge, which
But the question is, I feel disingenuous. I always feel disingenuous talking about our own writing, like we haven't written it, but really we have written it.
No, but
the question is, did Wayne see the bomb grab? Did he see? Or
did he see? And did you hear what she said? Was it loud enough that all that shouting had stopped? Did he hear what was said, or is he oblivious? At this point, we don't know.
Well, we do know, but we're not.
But we're not going to let people know. We don't know. As an audience member now, moving it back, we don't know. But you'll find out in the next installment of, Last Resort. So that's the scenes for today.
Well, we haven't. No, sorry, we have to just take one more moment, and that is Kelly's very subtle point to Sergey.
Oh, and well, subtle is probably the wrong word. He wasn't extremely subtle, was she?
She insinuated, but never actually said. Yeah,
because she's
just another game, isn't it?
Oh, she loves the game. She loves stirring the pot, because she just stirs the pot. She's not deliberate. She's not actually stating something as a fact that she's seen third hand, but she's just sowing that little seed of because Sergey was already a bit dubious about Adam. He kind of cottoned on to his reputation, wasn't happy about his precious daughter being around this influence. And now the suggestion that there's more to it, I can't see that ending well.
More drama to be had and the last
Yes.
resort screenplay.
And not many episodes left in order to do it. So, if you want to find out what happens, stay tuned because it's coming very soon. It's about all we've got time for tonight's episode. As we mentioned, if you're listening to this soon after release, check out the social media platforms to see about our little road trip out there, enjoying a trip down memory lane. So check those out. If you're listening to this 3 years in the future, you'll have to crawl back a bit through our photos and what have you in order to find those. But I would recommend it anyway because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fun in there. Mike, it would be amiss of me not to ask for your final thoughts for the episode. Is there anything you want to share with us? Any wisdom you feel you've garnered throughout tonight's episode?
When you are deep within a community and you harbor secrets, you have to acknowledge that secrets never stay secrets for long.
And how very profound.
There's lots of people going, "What secret? What secrets?
What secrets? Hey, what secrets? Who's got a secret?" Anyway, all will be revealed, I'm sure, in the next few episodes. Thank you again, Mike, for your company. Thank you, everybody listening, for tuning in. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, whatever your platform that you use for your podcasts. Make sure you tick that follow button and you'll get updates as to when new episodes come out. Join us on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're on all of them. And we'll see you next time on The Bad Scripts Presents The Last Resort. But until then, from me and from Mike, goodbye.
Bad Scripts was written and performed by Mike Garlia and Steve Jones, a Beach Tide production.